What's up, guys? Let me do a good video today. I got a topic I want to talk about that a lot of people don't talk about much, and it's coaching. There's a lot. Let me tell you something, guys. There's a lot of toxic ass coaches in this industry of martial arts. There's a lot of amazing coaches that help change people's lives as well, for sure. But I started coaching full time about three and a half years ago, and I think my student. I have a lot of students now. Big gym I'm coaching at and running my own program out of there, and I have a lot of students. And the thing, they look at me as a coach, but in my mind I'm still a fighter, right? Because I still compete, and to me I always take the fighter side more than the coach's side. And the issue is with a lot of these toxic ass coaches. It's funny to say this, but I'm sure some of you guys have watched Cobra Kai series. It's literally like that. If you train with enough coaches, there's amazing coaches that are good and care about you. There's head case coaches that are toxic. They're controlling. They want the number one. Here's a good example. The number one red flag, period, of to know that you have a toxic ass controlling coach is when they won't let you cross train. If you walk into a gym and your coach doesn't want you to cross train, that's a red flag that's the biggest red flag in martial arts, period. And what I mean cross training is you're allowed to go to other gyms and they don't make a big deal about it. I do think, if you have a good coach and their technique is good, you should be learning technique from your coach and not going to the other gym to learn as much technique, but you should be able to go spar at any gym you want. And if your coach has a problem with that, he's definitely a control freak and has issues. A lot of coaches out here, they act like it's them and not the fighter. Let me tell you something, guys. It's almost always the athlete, period. There's great coaches out here that make a world of difference. And these kids, a young kid, including myself, when I was young, would not have been able to, do the things that we did and travel the world and do the things, that I did, without the right help. So I really am indebted to the right coaches. But I've also had some toxic people that they want you to win, but only if you're with them. They want you to win, but only if they can be in the corner. They're very toxic. They're very controlling. And they're also usually the coaches that preach loyalty. They talk about loyalty this, loyalty that. That's another red flag. If you walk into a gym and the first month you hear people talking about loyalty and shit, then that's a sign that there's a reason why those people aren't being loyal. If your coach is always complaining about this person's disloyal, this and that, most likely those people have left for a reason. I will say this, there is people disloyal in this industry. There's fighters and there's coaches that are both disloyal. But you hear constantly about the disloyal fighter, but you never hear about the disloyal coach. Well, the disloyal coach is the one that maybe they're a mediocre coach at best and they can only take you so far, but they try to guilt trip you. They try to keep you with them when they want to talk shit, saying, oh, this person's disloyal, this and that, when really they're just leaving to find better options. At the end of the day, and that's another reason why a lot of them don't want you to cross train, because they don't want you to go out and see that there's other people doing better shit. Another example I will say is this: a lot of fighters get suckered into this one, and this is a very real one. Is they go to gyms where they have a lot of sparring partners, and because they have sparring partners and lots of sparring partners, they think this is the gym to be at. And sometimes that is the case, but you need to look around and see what the technique looks like. That's the thing. If all of these fighters, if you go to a gym and they have 25 guys you can spar with consistently, but do they suck? Are they mediocre? Do they have good technique? And the superstars are going to be the superstars at any gym, guys. That's something that these coaches are never going to tell you. They're thinking in their mind, oh, I made this person. They're good because of me. Most kids who get good in fighting are going to be good anywhere. They're just going to be better if they're taught the right techniques. That's how you. A prime example of this I see a lot too is this. I see guys that get to the UFC and they stayed loyal to the wrong people and they're 2-2 and they get cut. And then they think in their mind they just weren't good enough. And maybe, you know what? Maybe they weren't good enough to have a full career and be there for a long time. Maybe the competition level's too high. Maybe they weren't athletic enough. Maybe they didn't work out hard enough. Maybe it was them, being their worst enemy and not training hard or whatever the case is. But there's a lot of guys that are 2-2 and get cut from the UFC and you never hear from them again, that realistically, had they had the right coach that corrected the right technique, they would have had a longer career. Longevity is the key. If you see someone going to the UFC and they're not able to stay there, lots of times it is because of the coach. I don't care what they say. I don't care what any coach says. I'm always going to take the fighter side more than the coach's side. And there's some, don't get me wrong, there's some disloyal scumbag fighters as well that sell out, and for sure. But the only way you can judge a coach is by the technique. I think I did a video about this recently, about a lot of the regional coaches in different areas. They believe that if my fighter can beat your fighter, that means I'm a better coach. And they don't ever mention the fact that what if your fighter's a tough street kid and this other guy's fighter is soft and is a rich kid that is not mentally tough. The only way you can judge how good the coach is technique. And obviously the impact they had on the person's life. But we're talking about a high-level fighter. We're not talking about someone who helped change your life, which is drastically important. But it's very important. But I'm talking about from the perspective of someone who comes in, does most of the stuff right that they're supposed to do. They should have a chance to go far. If they're a tough kid and they do everything right, they work hard, do everything right, they should have a chance to go very far. And a lot of them, no matter, they don't even realize they don't have a chance because the techniques they're learning. The technique is the most important thing, guys, when we're talking about coaching, because guess what? When you get to a high level, everybody's tough. Everybody has somewhat athleticism. Everybody works decently hard. But what are you working hard on? Are you working hard on dropping your hands and keeping your chin in the air? Or are you working hard on fixing the things? So something to think about, guys. There is a lot of toxic coaches out there. There's a lot of people who only want you to win if you're with them. And then if they can't be in the corner anymore, they don't give a fuck about you. Of course, they're never going to say that, but that's just what it is, guys. So I will say this. If you're at a gym and you feel like your technique is not getting good, is not getting better, and you're not progressing the way you want to, then you have every right to go look and see what else is out there for technique, from a technique perspective. Because if you're trying to get to a certain level, you're not gonna get to that level, or you're sure not gonna stay at that level with bad technique. Because everybody at top levels have those other attributes. Most of them are tough. Most of them are in shape and train hard. Most have some degree of athleticism, but the technique is what separates them. So something to think about when you're starting out in martial arts. I always suggest you trying a couple different gyms out. I say 3 gyms. I put something about this in my book, The Ultimate Guide to Choosing a Martial Arts School and Instructor. Go out there and go to 3 different gyms and see what's available. And also do this. When you walk into a gym, let's say you're taking a striking class, for sure, striking, for sure do this. You could go to 10 different gyms in your city. Let's say you live in a decent sized city. You could go to 10 gyms in your city, and I guarantee you, you would be shocked. Don't ask them any questions. Just go and do the class. Do an introduction class and see how much defense they actually teach. Most of these coaches teach no defense at all, and that's what really gets you at a high level, is the defense or lack of. Most of them teach no defense, so that's a major technical flaw that a lot of people don't have. I mean, the people have is defense, me included. That I really feel like that's what cost me. So check the coaches, check the defense, and check and see the stuff they talk about. Listen to the stuff they talk about. But you don't. If you're a paying customer, guys, you don't have loyalty to anybody. Yes, you need to build a relationship, and you should be with someone long term if they're giving you everything you need, and they actually care about you. They're coming in extra. They're doing extra work for you. And you got to do your part too, because you can't be a loser and not work hard and then complain, oh, my coach doesn't believe in me. Well, they don't believe in you because you don't work hard. But as a whole, this is for the student who does everything right. This is for the kid who comes in and trains hard and does everything the coach asks him to do. If your technique is off and you're not getting better, then you need to explore other options, and don't let some toxic coach tell you different. Something to think about, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're new to martial arts and you're looking for a school, I suggest buying my book, Ultimate Guide to Choosing Your Martial Arts School and Instructor. The link is in the description below. basic information about finding, finding the right school. And it's $4.99 on Amazon. Check it out and leave a review if you buy it, please. And let me know what you think. Leave any questions y'all have in the comments below. Thank you, guys.